What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's Sunday Night Spotlight. Sunday, June 23rd. We're going to put the spotlight on some sweet happenings in the pro wrestling world this week. I've got an awesome crew with me. Same crew as last week. Almost the exact same crew as yesterday on the Daily. So first, I'm going to send this one out to New York. Welcome back once again. Megan, how are you?
Hi, I am doing well. Happy Sunday, everyone. Um, it is hot in New York. We are going through a heat wave right now. So just pray for all your northeastern people because we are dying out here. Okay, we got it bad.
I hear you. It sounds brutal, and honestly, it's funny because we have a heat wave in California, but I really can't complain. I really can't complain by comparison. Although I did have a bee issue yesterday. That's neither here nor there. Okay, up next though, we've got from the DMV. Get your twos up. It's not Tuesday, but it's the Tuesday Night Delight. Shoddy, what's going on?
What's going on, Clark? Man, I'm doing good over here. It is also heat wave in the DMV. Summertime is coming a lot sooner than I imagined it would be, but it is what it is.
Absolutely stoked. Looks like Ben just joined us here. How are you doing today, Ben? Do you need something? Oh, we are live. We used the wrong studio. Very good. What would you like us to do here, Ben? Just finish the show live?
Oh, we are live.
Ben, talk to me, Ben. I guess we're live. Let's keep going live. Let's
All
talk
right.
about it. It's the first ever live Sunday morning spotlight here in California, but that's not even
Yeah,
here nor there.
we got we
That is
got we
our
got a lot
bad,
of people
boss
already
man.
in the comments, and they hype
Yeah,
for it.
we've got
So
live viewers. I love it. We are first ever live Sunday night spotlight. We've got it. Let's get going. Let's spotlight our first topic of the day. That's going to be you, Shad. And I know you want to talk about maybe the only thing you could put the spotlight on all week in All Elite Wrestling, if I'm not mistaken, Shoddy.
I'm so sorry. B word. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Well, it is not it is not um anything that people don't know. I was at Dynamite this past week in the great state of Northern Virginia, the DMV. Also Savannah was there too, and we got another great moment from Kazuchika Okada, and I want to just spotlight the amazing work he is doing in AEW. When you think about Okada, obviously people want to use the hit word that is aura, the star power, and just the incredible in-ring ability that he has from his time in New Japan. You know, one of the best professional wrestlers in Japan of all time. Maybe one of the best professional wrestlers of all time if you think about it, all that he's accomplished. And, you know, him going to AEW, going to a grand scale of professional wrestling on a weekly television show, being part of a product that has a lot more, you know, different type of styles and storylines and having character work. I think he has really found his footing in AEW, and I think he's done a phenomenal job. I am a person that is a huge fan of the entire faction of this new elite with the EVPs, with Jungle Boy Jack Perry, who's not really in the jungle no more. Uh, and then Okada, I think Okada is the guy who's kind of the cherry on top. You know, the workhorse, but also showing that grace and elegance he still has with how they have with the suits and all that, but being more of like a kind of a unsung comedy aspect. You know, him on Wednesday, you know, with the acclaim, you know, doing God's work and cutting off Max Caster so we didn't hear him have to rap at all while I was there live. Thank you. That was a babyface move. And then, you know, cutting to the video, him with the fake crying and then him using the B word as his whole gimmick. It's funny, man. It's really, really good. And I think he's absolutely doing great work. Last night on Collision, him and Ultimo Guerrero had a very fun match. This man, Rainmaker, the guy's mask off of his face. It shows you that he's still one of one, and I'm excited. I think Okada is gonna really just progressively move up the chains in AEW, and he could definitely be in that AEW title picture at some point by the end of the year. especially if we get the belt on Osprey or Swerve. Like it's just one of those cases where I think he's the perfect like hitman for the EVPs, and I'm excited for it. I love it. He's also a champ right now as well, the international champ. So yeah, Kazuchika Okada is my spotlight of the week.
I love it, and I think it's a great call because honestly, to your point, I think he's been underrated since he came over to AEW. He had the aura about him in New Japan and really fit the New Japan style when it came to bell wrestling, right? That was the whole thing, was like, you're going to get a classic every single time you hear the coin drop, right? Showing the charisma in the comedy aspects, the subtle comedy aspects too. They're like tasteful. It's not in your face. It's not like ha 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 funny. It's one of those that you kind of like smirk at a few seconds later once you catch it. And I love showing that side of his personality because it still keeps that, like you said, hitman, like that aura. There's still a level of mystery to Okada, like his true motivations, right? Yes, he's in the elite, but he doesn't seem, he like perfectly fits in a way where he doesn't really fit, right? Like
Sure.
he's not an original elite member. He wasn't a Bullet Club member in any way, right? But he aesthetically in AEW, I don't think I ever could have predicted him doing as good of a job as he has with this role. Elite. I don't know. The other thing about Okada is like that Rainmaker is maybe the prettiest finishing move.
It's so nice. It's so nice.
When you get somebody who can flip too.
Bro, he literally knocked the dude's mask off of his face last night.
Yes.
Like, I know that nobody watches Collision as much as other shows, but like, if you want to just Google that, at least it was crazy. Like, and this is like a dude with a pretty big head too, clean off his face, man. It's so sweet.
It was absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I mean, when he first signed, I was super hesitant as to how they were going to go about it because I just didn't see like an Okada and MJF rivalry down the road or an Okada, and I wasn't sure about the matchups. Now I'm to the point though, after a few months, where I'm like, he could feud with almost any of the big names. Like I'd love to see Okada and Cassidy have a series of matches. I mean, that would just be
that would be dope.
Excellent, right? Like,
even though you know who I'm rooting for, but
of course,
I'll still enjoy it.
Of course,
But yeah.
To that point, it's like I think a lot of American companies do tend to struggle how to utilize international talent just because of the language barrier, and there has to be some sort of way to implement them and keep them, to their strengths more so because talking on the mic in English can be difficult at times because they don't. That's not the native language or whatnot, but. Like this, how they're putting Okada with the elite is like perfect. I don't think there is a better way to display, especially moving him as a heel at that too. Like he plays the role very, very well. And to people that don't really watch New Japan or are not, familiar with him, this is like a cool character to just be a fan of as a weekly programming.
100%. I'm with you. Yeah, it's hard to. I guess the best way I could put it is overperform when you aren't in the main event picture, but you're signed as a main event talent. And somehow Okada, I feel like, has managed to do that in the way that I wouldn't have if I was betting. I would have said like, oh, well, he's going in every week, putting on bell to bell classics and getting the fans behind him. Didn't expect him to go out in a suit and be entertaining like that. That was not in the cards for me, right? Like, and that's really impressive that he's been able to do that since coming over, because it's a huge adjustment. And if you know Okada's career, those TNA years were not very good.
Nope.
And there was some fear about that coming back, but I think he's done a good job and fits AEW better than I ever expected, for sure.
Yeah.
But let's move on to our next spotlight topic. Megan, who are you spotlighting this week? Who or what, I guess, but
well, I guess as everyone have seen yesterday, Our beloved Kayla Braxton have announced that she will be leaving WWE after next week. And I felt compelled to highlight her this week because from one journalist to another, um, it's always sweet to see um, a black journalist in a space where she has really paved the road for the other interviewers to come after her. And I was sad. I was really sad to hear that she's leaving, but she has given us a lot of memorable moments. Of course, one of my favorites is her banters off and on with um, Paul Heyman. Um, of course, it's kind of funny that the wrestlers lately have been addressing her as being nosy because she like really want to, find out what's going on. um she's a very she's a very um big part of WWE, even though she's bite sized.
Yeah.
She is a very important part of WWE. And this is not to slight Kathy or Jackie or Byron. They are well established in their own right. But Kayla she's memorable. And we're really sad to hear that she is leaving. But we are going to support her in her future endeavors and whatever it is that she has planned next for her future and her career. And this is not a goodbye. This is a see you later. And can't wait to see what she does next. So my highlight is Kayla Braxton.
Same. And I love the way you said that about like, this is a see you later. She's going to pop up somewhere very soon.
Absolutely.
And I don't think this is actually the last time we see her in WWE. A few years down the
No.
road, people tend to come home often when it comes
She's
to
still
that.
Absolutely.
she's so young too. She's like only like I think she's like my age or maybe a year younger than me, like 31, 32. She's got
Yeah.
like a lot that she can accomplish. Like,
So
early 30s is super young, man. She can do this well into her like another 30 years if she wants to
Yeah.
as a
Absolutely.
journalist. Like
David
it's one of those things.
David Maj in the comments even added like wherever she goes, she's going to help things there. I agree with that too.
Hey, but Maj,
Absolutely.
I want to say one thing, bro, and this is not no disrespect to you, but her name is Renee Paquette, bro. You know what I'm
Yeah,
Oh,
saying?
yeah. But he also
She's
threw his twos up earlier, so we'll give him a break. And he was
throw it
saying
up,
we
but
deserve it about being live this morning. So David, it's all good. But yes, it is Renee Paquette. I hear you on that one. 100%. 100%.
but yes, Renee too. She's a legend as well.
mhm.
And I mean, if you ever want to veer off into the companies in that aspect, there is a handful of people that might come to mind whose careers you want to follow and hope that your career can even remotely reflect what they have accomplished. And Renee is definitely one of them. Kayla
Mhm.
is another. Coach Kevin Kelly,
Yep,
um, and so many others. So this is for the journalists
for
in
I
sure.
love it. I love
WWE.
it.
Well, and to your point, she really did. She is a journalist, but she also played the journalist in the WWE
Yes,
universe better
yes,
than almost anyone we've seen. Like asking, like you said, the questions that she would ask different wrestlers, playing into gimmicks too,
yes,
but in a journalistic way, establishing her own brand was brilliant. And I loved those post shows, SmackDown
Oh
and Raw
yeah,
during the pandemic era.
yes,
Just amazing job at hosting those, especially during the Paul Heyman time.
and
Just
and
her
the and the and the bump
and the
too.
bump.
Like
Yes,
bump as
I
well.
thought it was a fun show. She would like do like the cosplaying for the Halloween episodes, like
Yep.
Sami
yes. Oh
Zayn
my God.
and stuff
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
And then yeah, like you were saying, like the dynamic with Heyman, I thought that was so fun. Her having like empathy for broke ass Corbin was fun too.
Yep.
She's gonna kill it what she does next. And yeah, you know,
Absolutely.
tip my hat off to her, man. She's awesome.
I totally agree. We got wrestling takes in the comments. Hi guys, what's up? What's up, Cam? You're the man.
Good,
Thank
Brody.
you so much for yesterday. That was huge. We really appreciate it. But yeah, Kayla Braxton, I think can't really miss in wherever her next opportunity is. And not to sound like a broken record here, but not nearly the last time we see her in
Yes,
WWE. I think almost
I
for sure
agree.
borderline Hall of Fame caliber as far as I'm concerned when it comes to her role she played over the last 7 years, especially given the timing of that.
Absolutely.
I mean, she was on everything during a year where it was really hard to make anything during the pandemic, right? She was on
Yeah.
every single show. I don't know anybody that outworked Kayla Braxton during that time, and that's impressive, no doubt about it. That should go without saying for sure. But let's move on to our next one. I am gonna go ahead and spotlight how we've booked these home crowd situations. Obviously, last week's Sunday Night Spotlight, if you checked it out, we had on Saturday. So we had yet to see Clash at the Castle and CM Punk's interference, whatever you'd like to call it, ref spot with Drew McIntyre, screwing Drew McIntyre out of the title in his hometown or in his home country of Scotland in Glasgow. And then we turn around, same week, CM Punk's hometown, and we got an eye for an eye. I loved this because it's really funny. Navigating wrestlers' hometowns is difficult at times because you put yourself in some weird spots. I look back at Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels is supposed to be the babyface, except in Canada, right? And then CM Punk and John Cena. CM Punk's supposed to be the heel, except in Chicago. And we've seen, I mean, even you look at like the way that matches in wrestlers' hometowns have been booked. Often that wrestler gets the raw end of the deal or doesn't get the full pop because it's kind of taken away. The only example I can think that's the complete opposite of that would be Goldberg Georgia Dome against Hogan. That would be, he got his big moment, but you don't necessarily expect to see wrestlers look great in their hometowns. Chicago for Punk, he's looked amazing in basically the length of this run since he's returned to wrestling, if you include AEW especially, right? And the fact that they allowed him to open the show, get his Chicago moment and love from the crowd, and then still have Drew strike, I thought was one of the best booking decisions I've seen this year from any company. The way that they handled the 1 week, the way that they set up this summer rivalry between Punk and Drew McIntyre, they don't need a title. It doesn't matter. Has me beyond intrigued. I think it's going to be the rivalry of the year. And I couldn't be more excited about it because it's personal this time. It's not about titles. It's not about, it's about, I hate you. And I'm going to take your spot and I'm going to take your job. And there's something intriguing about that. I think we're going to end up with stipulation matches, a series of matches, not just one. This can't just be paid off in one match, especially not with this much blood. I haven't seen this much blood on WWE television in quite some time. And I'm not like super bloodthirsty. I'm not that guy, but it does add to this rivalry in particular. It adds to they really hate each other, and it feels like they really hate each other. And we haven't seen that in right. Cody and Roman was about the story and the glory. And yes, they were rivals. They disliked each other, but it wasn't as simple as I hate you. And that's what this is. And it's such a simple concept, but it's nice to see. And then the way that they were able to use both of their hometown fan bases to get the reactions in Chicago and Glasgow, I thought it was absolutely sublime. So my spotlight of the week are on the CM Punk and Drew McIntyre interactions. I just thought it was amazing.
Man, I think you kind of hit it right on the nail. Like, this has potential to be feud of the year. And it's the fact that you said, like, you don't need, like, barring no title, nothing, you don't need to have the title as the excuse to create a storyline that's this captivating. It's a storyline that may not be a main event, but should be a main event, just how hot it is, right? And like, they did everything that we kind of wanted them to do with the territories were, if eye for an eye, you gonna get me in my home place, I'm gonna get you back at your home place. And they did it a little different than how we were predicting it on the Friday show, but like they still did it really good. And the image of Punk just bleeding out of his mouth, um, in front of the hometown of Chicago with Drew standing tall and him and Nick Aldis kind of getting a little bit of a pushing war with each other. Like now it's one of those cases where like you didn't push Drew to the edge, man, and Drew's not playing around no more. And this is similar to like the what we liked about him when he was a Scottish psychopath and whatnot too. He's gonna really make this feud mean something, and it's surprising to me because I thought this guy right here in Punk when Punk first came back was the feud
Yes.
we
Yep.
was looking for that was gonna be like
Hmm.
this. Drew took it. He took it right out of Seth's hands. Like, nope,
He did.
I'm gonna have that. And I think this is the type of feud that Punk wants to do too, because this is like meaningful, like wrestling television that you just are gonna love to see, and it's gonna be beneficial for both parties.
Right.
Totally.
You know, last week, little shameless plug, but I did write an article about these two. It's on my Twitter. Um, and I said I think WWE found their biggest feud. And this is after Clash of the Castle. Had no idea that Drew was going to come. And like you said yesterday, firemen carry CM Punk through the arena. All the wrestlers is just watching as he just carry his body through the arena and then just plops him on the stage in front of everyone, in front of all of his fans, in front of all of his supporters. And it's just like you said. I feel like he has pushed Drew to a point of no return. But this is what CM Punk wanted. He wanted this. And one thing CM Punk is going to do is he is going to play with your mind. He's going to play with your mind. He's going to get in your head. He's going to attack you mentally. He's a mentalist. And without even touching him, he pushed Drew to the point of I might have to take this guy out. I might really have to just finish him off, do what no one else could do, and that's completely wipe him off this planet. And as I said yesterday, no, we need multiple matches in multiple locations. And
Yeah.
like you said, with multiple stipulations. Now maybe CM Punk kind of, poo pooed on the idea of his first match being a Hell in a Cell match, but he drew first blood,
Yep.
so that might have changed CM Punk's mind. That might make him think, okay, that might be something that we need to do. It might have to
I
be
would
a
love the
little
cell.
nasty.
I would love a
Hmm.
Hell in a Cell between those two. That could be just
Hmm.
like, I mean, and to me, I wish if they do it, I want them to bring back like the old gritty silver cage. I don't want the
Yes,
new
Yeah, that
modernized
red one.
ones.
yes.
I want it to look like right. It just I want that old feel
The
like
one that Mick Foley went through.
yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And
Hmm.
no knock on the red one, but I just think this feud deserves like the old school feel of it.
At least for CM Punk.
Yeah.
He has been gone for 10 years. And as we all said, no, when he first came, we initially thought it was going to be him and Seth. And I'm sure him and Seth would have ate. I'm sure that rivalry would have did what it was supposed to do, especially after
Hmm.
seeing Seth and Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But would it have been as impactful as what's going on now between CM Punk and Drew? Probably not, because Seth haven't lost anything by the hands of CM Punk. He just didn't like the idea of him being there. He did not want him there. But in the last couple of months, Drew took something from from CM Punk, and CM Punk has taken something from him, something that they both care about. And once you have done that, it has put them in a position where you have to, at this point, you have to get at each other. Like there's nothing that can prevent what we are going to see. What we are going to see is going to be something huge.
I,
And
I
I'm looking
agree.
forward to it.
I think it could be one of the only matches we see on a PLE this year for WWE that could main event without a title.
It should be.
I think it could main event without a title almost any PLE outside of maybe SummerSlam. I think
Without a
probably
doubt.
the belt should be on the line at the top of the card on SummerSlam. For
Yeah.
Cody's sake. I mean that,
Yeah,
right? Like that would make the most sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall,
I
to
agree.
me, it's the most exciting rivalry going in WWE, and I'm just blown away by the lack of the title. That's the brilliance of it to me, and goes back to even Seth Rollins is in the title picture because of this, because we
Yeah.
have this right
Yeah.
now, and that's the funny part is like it actually benefited
That's
Seth
good writing,
not
man. That's good
going
writing.
after
That's
Pete
good
right
writing
away.
for you, man. That's good writing for you. That's how you good storylines can be given if you
Yes,
you know write for it well and get the correct personnel tied to it. So they
Absolutely.
slam dunk, man. You know how to position your superstars. That's what you gotta do.
100%. But let's get into our highlights of the week. Megan, I'm going to start with you. I know you have an electric highlight this week
Yeah.
because I already know the topic, but I'm not going to spoil it. I'll let you tell us.
Well, as they say, say his name and he appears. And I do believe in Joe Hendry. And I I think that there was always speculations that he was going to show up. I think Cody kind of hinted that there was going to be people from other locker rooms that was going to attempt to try to take this shot at Trick's belt. And sure enough, Joe Hendry was there. And I know a lot of people was upset. A lot of people was upset that he didn't get a chance to fight in the match. He got eliminated so early in the match. But I see what Sean is doing. Sean is giving us just enough to want more. And if there's one thing that Sean knows is he knows ball. And because of that, Joe Hendry is now the most liked video since WrestleMania, and that is major. Now we want to see if his entrance will be the most liked video of 2024, and is constantly climbing. So there might be an opportunity. It might happen. Um, Now I would say I'm not really familiar with his character, but I've heard about him a lot. I hear his song all the time. It's so catchy. Um, and going from one Scottish wrestler to another, um, Joe he's captivating, and he is a character that is, I would say, generational. Might be a little, some people may or may not agree, but I do think he has the potential of being remembered for a long time, simply because of the character that he presents. Now, I've seen a lot of people talking about if he does come to the WWE or he has a crossover match between companies who they would like to see him go up against. And a lot of people are saying LA Knight. I would like to see that. I feel like these two have very strong personalities. And but there's a character to
Yeah.
their personalities that makes them very enjoyable to watch. And between the I believe in Joe Hendry and the yes from the audience, I know that will be a match that will be memorable for this year. and I'm voting for it. So if we can get Joe back into a WWE ring, which he has made it clear, he could go to any show or any program at any time. Just call his name and he will appear. So Joe Hendry, we want to see you on the main roster. I want to see you stand across the ring from LA Knight. I want to I don't want them to say anything. I just want them to just stare at each other and just let the audience soak it all in and then commence the ass whooping. So
Yes.
that's my highlight. Joe Hendry. I done said his name about 3, 4 times now. So
I love it, and I'm afraid he's gonna appear if we
I
say it
mean,
again.
I don't know.
But I'm just saying it's really funny because you're so spot on about like the charisma. I love the LA Knight matchup. I want to touch on that, but I'm laughing. I showed him to my dad, and my dad said it perfectly. He's like, it's so silly and dumb and simple,
yeah,
but so genius. Like it's just like he's like, how is this guy not already huge? And I'm like, I don't really know, but I like it's infectious. Like you want to clap, you want to wave,
Mhm.
yes,
you want to hear the songs. Him and LA Knight, I don't even care if the match is like a flop. The promo stuff
Promo
with
stuff
the
was lights
yes,
out.
song,
Mhm.
with the microphone work is going to be so entertaining. Like they could literally have a simple wrestling match at the end of it, and I would be like, ah, it was worth it. Like
yeah,
almost
It'll be
like the
great.
pressure's off on the match because it would be so fun. Like it just
yeah, yeah. I
Man, so I mean, my bad.
yeah,
I said a lot on Friday, and obviously it got posted on the Instagram, and people have been, you know, gunning for me. They've been saying I was being a hater of TNA, but like I said, it's not the talent. It's where he's at, and it's where he's
right.
at is why he's not displayed to that magnitude yet. He's in a he's a big fish in a very small pond.
yep,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree.
He needs to swim where he could be seen more, and I think that's all it is. Like he's a genius. He's so like the in ring stuff. He's not a world class wrestler, but neither is LA Knight. They're both decent wrestlers,
Yeah,
but it's the character that gets
absolutely.
stuff over, and like
to
the
me,
whole like making diss tracks and
yeah,
videos
Yeah.
stuff is
And
brilliant.
and and I will admit, I'm one of those people who was lucky enough to hear about him and to learn about him, even though I'm not a consistent TNA watcher.
Mhm.
yeah,
There is certain people that I do watch. The Broken Matt Hardy and the Moose and the
yep,
children and the babies. That was a little much. It was entertaining, but it wasn't good, but it was entertaining.
it was entertaining.
And because of his feud with AJ Francis is how I became more familiar with Joe Hendry, and I just see people just, I believe in him. Do you believe in him? And it's like, who is he? And just watching clips of their feud, I said, wow, like this guy he's really funny. And
Yeah.
so to see him come to Florida to NXT,
Mhm.
and his music start playing, and the crowd is singing his song, and they're clapping, and they're like really excited to see him. That tells me even they know who he is.
Yeah,
And
Yep.
I know that Sean and Triple H and Nick and all the others, they watch these programs and they know who is worth vetting and
Yeah.
bringing to their program.
and what I
And
find
uh
interesting
huh,
about Joe in particular is like he's not necessarily the top of the card on the marquee in TNA. So it's funny because like Shad earlier was talking about like people gunning for him. I feel like that's TNA fans that are like, wait, I don't understand why Joe Hendry has now become cross promotionally so big.
yeah,
No,
Because right,
they're telling me you don't watch the pro. I watched. I'm
yeah,
familiar what the product is. Y'all not understanding what I'm saying. I
yeah,
know he's on weekly television. I'm not dumb. He's not at the top of the card. He needs to be the face of the whole
exactly.
your franchise. That's what I'm saying. Like that. That's more so what it is. No knock on AJ Francis, but that's a TV title. It's the
It,
digital media title. I'm so sorry.
right.
Not even a TV title. It's a Twitter title that
It's
he's
an
fighting
internet
for.
belt. It's basically the speed
Come
belt.
on,
It's
man.
the speed belt light. Right? Yeah,
And both of them are
it's the
talented.
diet speed belt.
AJ Francis is talented too. I think he's doing a good job going to TNA and the Indies and you know, re-firing up himself as a talent because he's a person that I think shouldn't have gotten released by WWE. They should have just put them back on NXT and let him cook like he's cooking now, and it would have been fine. He's built for that. But like Hendry's got like an immense amount of like
Oh, it's
charisma,
wild.
character that's gonna like that would amplify if he was in a bigger company.
I couldn't agree more. And I also think it reminds me a little of like a more extreme version of Matt Cardona back in the day when Cardona just
Yeah,
started to get over on
Zack
social
Ryder.
media as Zack Ryder, right?
Hmm.
But when he started to doing the Long Island stuff, we started to get over on social media, and he was getting bigger reactions in the arena than his character would have suggested. To me, this is
Right.
like a more extreme version because you just can see little clips, even if you weren't. I'm not saying you specifically, Shad, but like people in general, even if you weren't familiar with that product,
It's like
you
that
can
and
watch.
Elias mixed together.
Yes, yes, that is a great call. It is so unique. And it's interesting too because he's been around a lot longer, I think, than people
Yeah,
realize. But
I like him.
Okay.
I like him better than Elias and Zack Ryder personally.
I think
I
his
think
timing's perfect.
I think he's really creative. I like the- I'm a battle rapper. I love diss tracks. Obviously, the world loves these diss tracks nowadays with the whole Kendrick and Drake thing. Like it takes a making parody tracks, like kind of like how Weird Al Yankovic used to do
Yes.
to like popular
Mhm.
songs, like the whole Creed. Can you take me higher? Can you please get fired? Thing with Francis,
Oh,
brilliant, bro. It's he's talented. I
and
believe. I believe.
that's what I mean by the timing. I don't even just mean that like as like a bell to bell wrestler at all. I mean it like his timing in like Creed's on their big tour this year, so of course that's the one he uses for that parody
Yeah,
song, right?
for sure.
Like he just the even like it was interesting. I heard him on Busted Open talking about the entrance at NXT. They did it a little bit differently, so he got to stand out there a lot longer and take it in.
Yeah.
And he was like, it was
Okay.
really cool being able to do that, but it was a total adjustment. And just you hear him talk about it. He's like, it's all about the timing of everything he does, and he's really, really more psychological than I anticipated when it comes to all of his actions and intentions as a wrestler. And
Mhm.
that's going to take him even further than where he is right now
Without a
because
doubt.
Absolutely.
those numbers are undeniable as far as that the entrance is concerned, all the music is concerned. He's on the charts musically. I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty
Absolutely.
remarkable for a guy that's been after music
He's
for
got over a
a
million
decade.
views on his song on YouTube
It's absolutely amazing. Yeah,
on his page.
yeah, it's like it's pretty fascinating the rise and I love it. That's a great highlight of the week. But speaking of highlights, Shad, we got to get your highlight of the week. Talk to
my
me
hi-
about it.
my highlight of the week is somebody that a lot of the comments say looks like me. But it is the debut of my twin brother Jacob Fatu on SmackDown, man. And my oh my oh my, as a fan of Jacob Fatu for these past some odd years of all his work in the independents and MLW, it is about damn time that he gets home to the WWE, man. If you want to talk about a phenomenal debut, this is one of those ones where you're, inserting a new talent into the WWE. This new bloodline has really been working for me. I've really enjoyed all the implications of adding the, Gorillas of Destiny, obviously, to it, with Heyman and Solo's interactions are being. This is going to be the one that is going to tip it off to a higher trajectory. Jacob Fatu, without a doubt, is arguably one of the best, if not the best, Fatu out of that bloodlines when it comes to in-ring work.
Whoa, I
His
love that.
in-ring work is second to none, bro. He is a guy who is very agile for his size, such a good in-ring competitor, just looks like a straight beast, and he is going to transcend going into the WWE. I feel like they signed themselves a guy who could possibly be a main event star sooner than later. Like you just saw the presentation of it on Friday. He looked like an absolute stud. He's a lot more leaner now. He's so explosive, and just displaying him like the absolute beast that he is gonna do well. And I know Solo Sikoa is doing phenomenal work, and I think he's gonna keep doing it. And I'm very happy for him. I think the marquee match down the line this year at one of these pay-per-views for a main event is Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu. I think that has possibility of being a match of the year contender. Just how great both wrestlers are in ring wise, and just the style of what Fatu can do as a wrestler. Because I like the bloodline. I like these new guys. I don't think there's a person on that new bloodline list that is a better worker than him, nor character wise too, man. Like the dude can cut promos. He gives you authenticity. He keep it real, man. Like he's so good, and I'm so happy for him. So I gotta definitely say my highlight of the week is just seeing Jacob Fatu destroying stuff, murking Cody, murking Orton, murking KO. Come on, man. My boy put in work on Friday. I was so hyped for it.
I'm with you 100%. And to have, I think that's one of the ultimate compliments coming from you, talking about him being one of the best Fatus.
Yeah.
That is a guy that knows as much wrestling as you to levy that compliment. Does
I've been
not go
saying,
without.
bro. I've been saying it for a
Yeah,
little while. Like
I'm with you.
even like during like the early Roman as the tribal chief, I was like, man, he's good. But like if Jacob was in there, like that would be crazy
Oh,
because he's there's so many good matches of his, man. Like he's got a lot of great matches that you can go back from MLW. Him and Alex Hammerstone used to have some banger of
yep,
abouts, great feuds, man. The whole Contra like group that he was running, man. Like I think him and Bronson Reed had a banger match when Bronson got first released from NXT when he was Noah and whatnot. When he
yep.
got released, like the
That's right.
dude can work, man. The dude can work. And now like you just look at his like physique now, man. Like he's leaner, faster. Like they definitely put him in the gym and got him right. And he gonna be look, my match that I also need to see happen, him versus Braun Breaker. Cause I think that
Mm.
may just completely blow the whole roof off if them two dudes go against each other. Him and also maybe him versus Obafemi. I know you've been saying who could stop Obafemi. That's a dude that could get to Obafemi
Stop
face and
him.
be like, I
Yeah.
ain't afraid of you, big man. Let's
You
go,
could
run it.
actually look across the ring and have something serious that time.
Yeah.
I think my only fear is a little bit of fear that other people have expressed that Fatu's going to outshine. He's going to outshine Solo,
Let it
which I
happen.
feel bad for, which is fine. It's possible, but it's like,
Yeah.
man, like the violence on that run in the main event on
He
SmackDown
he
was just off the charts.
It
it
was.
can be a
It was
fear.
good.
It could be a fear, but you position the best. The best need to play.
I
If he
agree.
you sign him, you let him be the best that he is, and he's gonna be one of the best on the WWE roster given the right amount of time. Like I can confidently say that. Like I can't confidently say that about Tommy
Yeah.
Tonga and company, but I can confidently say it about Jacob Fatu.
The cream rises to the top, shot. I hear you
Yeah,
100%.
sure.
Yeah, the cream rises to the top. No, but like,
Mm.
I don't know. It's funny because of the timing of the debut. It's like, ooh, they did all this groundwork for Solo, and it's like, he might be the batter. He might be the batter one in the bunch.
You saw the smile on his face when he was in that over there. He's like, y'all done effed up now, boy.
Yeah,
Okay, but do you think that with him being on the side of Solo, when Roman does come back, because we know Roman's coming back, even though Solo told Paul he wasn't coming back, we know he's coming back. How many fights do you think Roman would possibly lose initially?
I don't think any.
I don't think
You don't
any.
think?
I think
No,
the
He's gonna
next
wait,
come.
time,
He's
even,
coming. He's coming back as a babyface for sure. I know that.
yeah,
but I mean, like with Jacob being on the side of Solo, Bloodline 2.0,
Yeah.
do you think Roman can gather up a group that will be able to take Jacob down?
It'll
Yeah.
probably be. It'll definitely be the Usos, and the last person. I. It's either two people. It's either they reunite Sammy in some way,
Hmm.
or the next one is gonna be one that Clark is not gonna like. It's gonna be Cody Rhodes.
No, it's not going to be Cody Rhodes.
But
It's
see,
going to be it's
the
going to be
reason why
Hikuleo.
I asked this because you just said that he's the
Hikaleo.
best of all Fatus. So I'm thinking, can the Usos
He's
handle
not gonna
him
be
if that's the
positioned as
case?
the best, but I think as a no, as an in ring worker, I think he's the best of all Fatus. I think he's can give you the best match quality. I think Roman's a sensational talent, like as a
Right,
presence, and I think he's a very good worker. But like from what I like personally, I would rather watch a Jacob Fatu match than a Roman Reigns match because Jacob does more than Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns gives you those slow build up methodical matches that base a lot off of storylines. Jacob Fatu gonna go in there and give you a banger with
right,
anybody. And then I like the Usos. I think they're a great tag team match. I think they're a little okay as in ring like single stars. I hope that doesn't shrug anybody off the wrong
Yeah.
way. But I think they're good. I don't think they're amazing, but I think they're good. I think Solo is kind of in that same breath. I think he's a good worker. I don't think he's an incredible worker. Um,
right.
I think Jacob Fatu is an incredible worker. I think he can give you
Yeah.
5-star matches given the opportunity. I think he's that good at, and I think he's also a great character. I think he can cut like great promos too. I have a lot of confidence in him.
I mean, we're down to Zillafatu basically and Hikuleo
He's
out
good too.
there left.
The Zilla's still
And
young though, but
I'm still looking at 5v5 war games if we can figure that out somehow. Just tribal
Mm,
warfare, really do it at war
You
games.
know, but I've seen a lot of people think that Zilla is still a little green.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd
Do
say
you
so.
think that he's ready for that? Because
But
that's
that's where
a
a 5-on-5 match though, you can kind of work him around that, especially with
I don't,
his own
I don't,
family.
I don't think
and
he's
then
ready
what?
for it
Ship him
personally.
back to NXT because
No, and
once he
then you keep building him back up, you know?
I think he needs to
mm,
be in NXT to learn how to become
Yeah, it's true.
like more of a
I
wrestler
think
more so.
so.
He just started. He's like brand new to it.
Yeah.
He's doing like indie shows right now, like
Yeah,
as a new talent, and he's not working. He's not work. He's working squash matches in the indies to look the part to be strong of what it is, but he's
True.
not there to work that. He couldn't work that face. Even
Mhm.
Hikaleo, I think he could be. I think maybe he could work because he's got he's got experience in other wrestling companies, obviously in New Japan and whatnot, and he was kind of a upcoming star within there. But I even worry. I don't know if the fans will gravitate to him as much because I feel like I think everybody knows Gorillas of Destiny a lot
I'm trying to
as
think
a
of
primary tag team, and I
I'm
think
trying
that's
to
kind of more where they're.
yeah. I'm trying to do the math in my head though. Like, could you do Tonga versus Samoa? I'm like, as far as the Anawai and Fatu divide when it comes to the bloodline, could you actually pull that off? Like, I'm doing the math in my head, and it's like it's
It
close, but
like
I don't know if
think
you
they
could.
need. Yeah, they got Lance Anaya. You could add
Yeah,
him too. He was in WWE, I think, at one point, wasn't he?
I, I
yeah,
believe that's right. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Bobby just added. How about Lance Anawai? There it is. Boom.
Yeah,
I
dig
mean,
out.
it's possible. I just think that'd be fun to do and
I
cool.
will say though, by technicalities, Naomi is also a Fatu, and she's also one of the better Fatus out
It's
there too,
very
because she's
true.
a great
Very
in-ring
true.
wrestler
Shout
too.
out Naomi
Yes,
for sure.
yes.
So my bad. I don't want to disrespect Naomi on that too. I think she's incredible.
Absolutely.
We
But
love
yeah,
Naomi over here.
Big Naomi fans for sure. Okay, let's get into my final highlight of the week for us today. And this one was a serious highlight. Who would have thought it was less viral than Joe Hendry? Not me, but I still thought it was an amazing moment. And I thought it was really cool the way that Bray was truly honored in this in a way that was tasteful. There was some criticism about it, but that's not right. This is his family. These are people that are close to him.
Hmm.
And this is likely cathartic. People grieve differently,
hmm
and it's likely cathartic for Taylor and for Eric Rowan and for the rest of the crew involved in this. The delivery on that was awesome. It was creepy. Bray had the biggest smile on his face watching it. I can only imagine.
Absolutely.
for sure.
Even like doing like the Joker with the hand twirl as he's walking down in the smoky hallway gave me chills. That image at the end with the lantern and then the we're here, I dug it. I loved it. I hope things remain mysterious for as
Yeah.
long as we possibly can allow them to, until we finally have to start one by one paying things off and explaining things. And in that process, I think it'll be great for not only wrestling, because we need
Yeah.
some creepiness. That's why I love the House of Black. That's why we loved Undertaker. That's why we loved Kane back
Yep.
in the day. And then Mankind, all that type of stuff, right? Like
Yeah,
this is
if done right, it hits like
it's
anything,
great.
and the presentation of it hit like to your point, man. If obviously, I would love them to just keep wrecking havoc for a little bit without any sole like reason to it, and it
Yeah.
can lead to other stuff. But like, I think it could, like a person like a Nikki Cross, who's been kind of having inklings of being into this, where she's just kind of been like pale, stone face, acting like walking around randomly and stuff like that, and then coming back to this. Like Nikki Cross was a Raw Women's Champion at some point. Giving her the
Right.
right backing and the right character and displaying her that way, Raw needs some main event women. This could probably get her back into that. You know what I'm saying? Like a crazy, deranged, Wyatt family Nikki Cross versus a Liv or versus a Rhea Ripley down the line. That could be fun if you position and keep building
Yeah.
her up that way.
And I love it because it didn't look as extreme as Abaddon, but it had a little bit of Abaddon like stuff, the creepiness on the Nikki Cross crawling out and everything in the mask. But I do also think we've seen she won the championship as Nikki Ash. Let's be honest
Yep.
with ourselves. This is
And had
already
fans
better than that.
and
This
had
is
fans
already
had fans excited for that though too.
it
You
was
gotta
wild. It was wild.
she's a I said it on the Tuesday review show last week. I think she's one of the more like underrated women's superstars on what she gets given. Like she does the best she can do with it and does well with it.
I remember when she did the Nikki Ash thing, just watching it, and I was like, she watched The Incredibles last night and was like, me. I'm doing this.
Mm.
I
Give me
liked her
the suit.
cash. I liked her cash in personally. I thought it was funny and all of that, but to each his own.
It was wild.
We
Megan,
So
we all
what?
we all picked the highlight of a WWE thing, by the way.
we did.
Debut.
But what were your thoughts on
Well,
the
well,
debut of the White
briefly.
Six?
Well, I just want to discuss the whole Chad being xed out and then Dragunov supposed to replace him, but then a very glitchy Adam Pierce video came out where he said Chad was going to be in the match, and it felt like he was possessed. It really gave like it didn't seem like Adam Pierce. It seemed as though wasn't him.
Something
And then
else,
even
yeah.
the caption, like official, was kind of broken up.
Hmm.
So I would say probably want to keep an eye on Adam Pierce. Maybe he got caught up in the mix with the Y6 because there was like bodies everywhere and people was
I mean,
trying to
even
figure out
Triple H was
who
laid
these
out, right?
bodies. I think so.
I'm pretty sure one of them was
I thought
Trips.
so. And then
Not Hunter.
and then Chad had posted up a picture of like a zombie. He didn't say anything. It was just a picture of a zombie like coming from the grave. So I feel like tomorrow's going to be good.
Yeah. Sure.
I would definitely. There's certain people that you might want to keep an eye on, and Adam Pierce and Chad Gable is definitely two people you might want to keep an eye on. I feel like they may have came
Uh,
across them.
I
In effect.
love that idea too, and I hope that's how they stick with this, right? Where it's kind of unpredictable. They target people you're not really sure, and then they sort of give you little nuggets to explain it along the way,
Yes.
right? Like
Yeah.
that's how I think this needs to be handled, where it's like really organically built now from here. Because obviously that entrance was so impactful, and the amount of production
Right.
that goes into a moment like that, right? Like that was an expensive segment, And I mean that in a positive way, right? Like as far as all the, I mean, to have the lights flickering and messing up, like with the sparks in the one room and all the smoke, and like, you know, you're doing a separate entrance ramp basically out of a door as opposed to the normal one. A lot goes into that, and I was so blown away by it. I think, like, yeah, to your point, them sort of just targeting people, but without necessarily actively doing that entrance every week and coming out and cutting I don't need to see that. I don't want to know why right away. Right. That I think is the best way to go about it. Either way, though, I think it's been an amazing week in wrestling and a huge week for WWE, like you mentioned, Shad, obviously, with all these debuts. But that does bring us to the end of our show today. First ever live Sunday Night Spotlight. It was a blast. Thank you so much on behalf of me, Megan, Shad. We really appreciate it. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, smash that thumbs up. We appreciate it. It means a ton to us. Thank you for all the comments and everything. Have an excellent rest of your Sunday. And if you have no plans, we're only an hour and 32 minutes away from the daily broadcast. Go check it out. It's going to be Wrestling Heaven or Hell. It's going to be a fun one. It's me, Ben, and Ignacio, and I think one more, but it's going to be fun. Thank you again. Have an awesome Sunday. Talk to everybody soon.